welcome to Hollywood's Journey. I'm here to talk about Amsterdam tonight. I've been there 6 times. I've stayed all around Amsterdam in the red light district. I've stayed on the other side by the major parks, by the Anne Frank house, and more of the museum side, by the Heineken plant. So I've stayed all around Amsterdam, so I figured tonight I would give some tips, advice, cheaper ways to get around. So I'm going to give you some ideas on what you can do. I'm also going to give you how I got to Amsterdam so many times. So stick around and wait for my advice, and I'll be right back. Welcome back to Hollywood's Journey. Uncle Hollywood. So about 10 years ago, maybe even 12 years ago, I've been personal training living in Florida for a long time. And one of my clients was a pilot for Delta. And I would get buddy passes through him. In case you don't know what a buddy pass is, people that work for the company can put you on friends and family lists, and if the plane isn't full, you're on standby and you can get on the plane. If first class so happens to be open, you get first class. So the first time I used them, I actually flew into France, Nice, and I had some issues. I got on the plane, but it was really close, and I would have had to wait for another plane to get there, which was like another 3 hours after the original flight. And so I was thinking about, I don't want to always have to worry about if I'm going to get the plane, because when I flew into Nice, I flew out of Rome going back to Florida, and I didn't get on the first plane. So I had to wait for another plane, and it was just too much. Even though it was a round trip was like $390. So I flew from Florida to Nice and Rome to Florida for $380. But having buddy passes, it's not always a guarantee that you're going to get on the plane. So Delta has a hub in Amsterdam, so they have flights constantly coming in and out, like 5 a day. So I started flying into Amsterdam, and the planes were a little bigger, I think, because every time I was on standby, I got first class. I did Amsterdam 6 times. I got first class 4 times, there and back, because you go to Amsterdam to land, you go to Amsterdam to go back home, so there's more flights. And every time I got first class pretty much, and my round trip flight was, I think, like $410 for a round trip flight to Amsterdam and back home. And getting first class, you can't beat that. So that's why I ended up going into Amsterdam more, because the Delta hub was there. So I had a higher chance of never missing a plane, or to get on a plane. If I did miss it, there was another one an hour away. So that's how I started going to Amsterdam. When I come back, I'll give you my stories about Amsterdam and maybe a few tips, and hopefully they help you out. Be right back. Yo, welcome back to Hollywood's Journey. Now, the first time I went to Amsterdam, I'm not going to be shy here. I am 420 friendly. If you know what that is, then good for you. If not, Google it. So, very interested in going to Amsterdam the first time. So I stayed for 4 days. Hotel was pretty expensive in Amsterdam, so I stayed at hostels every time I went. And you're going to get a hostel for about minimum $40 a night. An average hostel is probably going to be $60. If you're staying at the Bulldog in the red light district, you're going to spend probably $80 or $70, depending when you go. and hotels aren't cheap. I did stay at a hotel one time, and I got it pretty cheap, but it was on the outskirts. You had to either rent a scooter or get a train, and if it was raining, you were getting wet. So I decided I'm just going to get hostels and stay in the area. And so the first time I went, I did what every tourist is going to do. That's 420 friendly. I went to all the coffee shops. Hate to say it, did a space cake. I mean, got to experience it, right? So, but what I did differently was, instead of doing a pub crawl, I put in Google Maps and put in all the coffee shops, and I made a 420 crawl. And I rented a bicycle, and I would ride my bicycle to each coffee shop. And I think that's the best way to do it your first time going. I actually did that on my second time. First time I didn't really know. I was just experiencing it. But the second time I went, I rented the bike, I did the pub crawl. And then this way, if you ever go back, where you kind of want to stay, what section, what house, coffee shops are best. What's more expensive? I would say that one of the better coffee shops I went to was the Amsterdam, and I'll post a picture of it and stuff. They were a little on the high side, but the quality was the best. And you can't beat it. Everybody's there, smoking it out, talking to people from around the world, sitting outside in front some of the places you can, watching people go by, drinking a beer, basic Amsterdam stuff. Gotta eat the French fries. French fries are really good. A little hole in the wall, and they give you some French fries. And when you're 420, what's better than French fries? So that would be my first suggestion: bicycle and a 420 crawl instead of a pub crawl. And you'll get to see the city more, and you're always smiling. So that was what I did the second time. The first time I did the space cake, and I was by myself. And I'm going to suggest maybe not doing the space cake if you're alone. Or if you are, don't do the whole thing in one shot. Quick little funny story. I did a space cake, and the next thing I know, I remember looking at the red light district into a window, and the next thing I know, somebody's tapping me on the shoulder. I turn around, and he's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, why? I'm fine." He goes, "Nah, I've been sitting on the bench, filming you. You haven't moved in 30 minutes. You've been staring right at the window. Never moved. You didn't say nothing." He goes, "So I didn't know if you were all right or not." So you got to be careful with the space cakes. Make sure you're with somebody when you're doing them. I didn't do it again after that. It's just eating an edible, but when you're by yourself, you got to be careful, especially in those areas. And it was just a funny story. The guy's, what he showed me on the video, I didn't even move. I lost space, time. I lost everything. For 30 minutes, I told him, man, I've been looking at the window for like 3 minutes. And he was like, "No, it's been 30 minutes. And he showed me. So just be aware of yourself, and check yourself when you're doing a space cake. You can check out videos on YouTube about it. People are fucked up on these things. They just don't walk, and then they'll fall and collapse, and you'll pass out. Some of them are strong, so you have to be careful. So that was my first advice on. So I would say a 420 crawl. Be careful with the space cakes. If you're there with a friend, it's going to be a little easier. And my next one, I'll just give some advice on the museums. Yo, Uncle Hollywood in the house here in Vietnam, where I'm living in Ho Chi Minh, teaching the Englishes, teaching the children of the youth of Vietnam. If you want to work here and the border's open, check out the White Monkey Syndicate on YouTube. I'm telling you, jobs galore. I know America right now, a lot of people are starving, no jobs, no guarantees. If you're single with no kids or divorced with kids and you can leave, I would definitely come here when the borders open up for you guys. Once again, check out the White Monkey Syndicate on the YouTube. He'll hook you up, gives you everything you need. Watch the video, he'll tell you. Good buddy, he's trustworthy. But let's get back to Amsterdam. So for the museums, if you're going to go to the Anne Frank Museum, the Anne Frank House, buy the tickets online before you get here. That would be my suggestion to you. You can get deals online. If you know when you're going to be here in Amsterdam, buy the ticket because they're usually sold out. That place is crazy packed. And they're very expensive in Amsterdam, these tickets. They're pretty expensive. So I would order them online. And when you got there, you already have your ticket. You'll be able to go right in. Anne Frank House was interesting. I mean, you all know about it. If you don't, Google it. So I did the Anne Frank, the Heineken Museum or the Heineken Brewery. That was one of my better ones. They have a bar, so you get to drink some cheap Heineken, see how it's made. So I think that was about 20 euros or something like that to get in. The museums are not cheap in Amsterdam, so I would pick the 3 or 4 museums. I think there's a museum of the sex. Don't waste your time with it. It's pretty lame. They also have a museum with the night walkers of the night, the prostitutes. Don't do it. Waste the money. I think that's 10 euros. So there's a lot of museums. I would pick it. My 2 favorite were the Heineken and the Anne Frank because of the history. I'm into the history stuff. So that would be my suggestion. Buy your ticket online. Know what museums you're going to. If you're only there for a few days and you're only going to see the museums, stay on the opposite side of the red light district. There is a hostel right around that area. It's called Arcadia or Atari. Arcade Hostel. It was like $30 a night. Room very small. It's a single bed with a bathroom, but you're never in it. And it's one of the cheaper ones there are. And they got video games downstairs, so you can smoke, play some video games, go out if you want. And that's my suggestion. If you're going to do the museum, stay on the museum side. If you're going to do the 420 and the party and the red light, I would stay near the Bulldog. But you're going to spend a few extra bucks. Also, a lot of these hostels will not let you in until a certain time. I got a delayed flight. I got in about 5 in the morning and nobody was at the desk. I had to walk around Amsterdam at like 5 in the morning and it was a little cold and I had to wait till like 8 o'clock before, so and there was nothing open. No coffee houses, nothing. So just make sure that you either get a 24-hour desk or you know that you're going to get there at a certain time because you do not want to walk around. As far as packing for Amsterdam, depending when you go, it's going to be pretty chilly because you're off the water. So always bring long sleeve and I would say hats. There's a lot of different lights. You're going to be smoking. I like to wear a hat. It makes you focus a little better, I think. Especially when it's a little cold and you're walking around a lot. You tend to forget that you're cold, if you know what I mean. So that would be my tips. Pack warm. I would only stay there for maybe 3 days. It is very expensive. You will run through a few $100 easily in 3 days, especially if you're going to smoke a lot. But the coffee houses are good. My favorite was the Amsterdam Coffee House. A little expensive, but they had good music, good vibes, good area. My other thing would be rent a bike, do a 420 crawl, like it's a pub crawl. You'll see the area more, and you'll meet a lot of cool people. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. I figured I'd just throw something out there for Amsterdam. Like I said, I love Amsterdam. I'm 420 friendly. You go there, you relax. It's a good place to start your trip. It's a good place to end your trip, because by the time you get there, you're going to be tired and you want to relax a little. That's the place to do it. Watch out for the red light district. Strange people are in that area. But by far, I would say Amsterdam, if you're going to party, would be probably 2 or 3 on my list. I have some other places. I'll do that on another video on my top 3 or top 5 party places. Like I said, I've been to over 40 countries and islands. And so party video will be another time. This one's more about Amsterdam. Hollywood out. Subscribe, share, notify. Anything will help me out. I'm new at this. I'm upgrading. I'm going to be getting some microphones, and hopefully I can get a drone and fly it around. Vietnam doesn't have any rules about where you can fly your drones. So I think that would be pretty cool to show you around Vietnam with drones all over the place. Once again, check out the White Monkey Syndicate if you want to have a job here in Vietnam or China, which I wouldn't go there right now, but the White Monkey can help you out. And check out my videos. I have a bunch. And please keep watching. I appreciate everything. If you want to leave some comments or some ideas of what you want me to talk about, please always leave the comments. Hollywood out.